Hi everyone, this is Michelle from GCE Education Hub. Today we'll be going through a question on Trigo graph. So let's go! Okay, when students see this type of application question in Trigo, they tend to freak out because they don't know where to start. Alright, so actually number one is just read the question first, okay, and then try to trace the motion of what they are saying. So in this scenario, which is our Ferris wheel. Okay, so let me label some point. Okay, P is given here. Okay, let me label the maximum point as A, and then this point as B, and the lowest point at C. Okay, so our Ferris wheel is actually going anti-clockwise. So we can see that at P, alright, the Ferris wheel is actually 90 meters above the ground. As it goes up to A, alright, it is 170. Okay, which why? The question here mentioned that the wheel of the diameter is 160 meters. So meaning from here to here is actually 160 meters, which we divide by half, this will be 80 and 80. Okay, so if I trace out the circle out, okay, here to here is actually 80, here to here is actually 80, and then the small little part here is 10. So this is actually how the Ferris wheel looks like, okay, without all the stand. So you can see that at A, alright, my height above the ground is 80 plus 80 plus 10, which is 170. So and then as we move along to B, you can see that it drops back down to 90 meters. Okay, and then lastly, alright, it will drop back down to C, which is 10 meters, which is here. Okay, and then your C will go back to P, and it is considered as one cycle. So actually, we can see that this kind of question, they will usually tell you if it's a sine or cosine graph. So it's easier for you to trace the graph. So we will trace the graph before we find A and B. So we can see that from P to A to B to C, okay, my distance actually increases up to the maximum and then drop back down to the original position and going down. So in terms of sine graph, it looks something like this. Okay, we can see that the maximum here, alright, the maximum height from here to here is actually 170 meters. Okay, and my distance from here to here is actually 90 meters. And lastly, from the lowest point to the ground is actually 10 meters. Alright, so now we're going to find our amplitude. So if you recall, our amplitude is from the max to the middle, okay, which is here. So you can see that my amplitude is actually 80. And you can see that based on the equation, our B is actually our amplitude. So B is 80. Alright, to find A is usually how much we shift our Trigo graph up or down. Alright, so now to find A, okay, if you recall, our sine graph always starts from 0. But we can see that now our sine graph starts from 90. So with that, our A is actually 90 meters. Oh, sorry, it's just 90. Okay, so actually our Trigo graph, okay, it will look quite similar to this. So let me just do a sketch. Okay, so copying this onto our Trigo graph, okay, with our middle, it looks something like this. Okay, and this is one complete cycle with the maximum at 170 and the lowest at 10. Alright, now because since the question wants up to 72, so we're just going to add in one more cycle. Okay, which will be something like this. So this is how we solve a question on Trigo graph. If you find the content we are sharing useful, remember to like, share and subscribe. See you soon. Bye bye.